initial energy right out there. In fact, look, it is rallied right to that mineral line.
Interesting, actually. I was expecting it to be Dark Shrine, but it ended up being Blink. I started to think it might be Blink with the second and third gateways being added at this time. Scott is all up in our grill right now. He's going to have to tone that down just a little bit. But I'm just teasing Scott, guys, by the way. It's just something we do here. But Blink versus this is going to be interesting. But look at how early that Oracle gets in here. And it does so much damage, it's going to go ahead and just destroy probes. They're getting pulled, but even the mining time he lost at this point is damage enough. Never mind the 5, 6 probes going down, and it is not done yet. 7, 8, 9, and it's going to keep going. The Stalker's like, why won't you die? And it's going to leave here with 10 probe ears on its belt.
I mean, you know, I could have 13 Mutalisks and not even kill 10 workers. It's just, it goes to show. And the second Oracle is out now. So, you know, keep in mind that there is still, and hold on, Hero is advancing forward. He had that forward proxy pylon, and there are just 2 Stalkers here with 3 ready, but he's got 3 gateways, and I think he's going to be okay here.
Well, this is an all-in of sorts. Watch the Oracles. They're like, I guess I just go in here and kill all of your probes, and that's exactly what's happening.
Oh, man.
And yes, he has Blink, and yes, he has a Mama Core, but I just feel like the economy of MC is going to allow him to eventually whittle down those units. Like right now, yes, Hero is the better aggressor inside that base, but with no money behind this, MC could just eventually kill enough.
Oh, and the Mama Core almost focused down there. Now, he decided to spend his energy on the Time Warp, and there it goes. So both players, wow, it's just a Time Warp little conundrum there. And both Mama Cores going down, but MC does hold it off. He pulled all of his units back. He allowed the army to come in, got those free shots. Meanwhile, Oracles are actually sitting over the Nexus, just waiting for more probes to come out. And GG.
Hero is a fighter at heart, I suppose. He went down to the last Stalker, but honestly, I mean, it's just never going to happen. You talked about the Time Warp. It allows for Zealots to get in on the Stalker, so if they're on a Blink cooldown, they're going to take damage. They just absolutely are. And like I said, they moved in there, and in some situations, 6 Blink Stalkers can outmatch like 2 or 3 Stalkers and then their probes. But MC had a robust economy. He was always going to be able to, in the worst of cases, bring at least his Oracles back. And they don't do great against Stalkers, but they do enough that with that low Stalker count, they were always going to die.
Sure. And that was a quick 8 minutes, 5 seconds on that one. So we're going to be moving on to Akalon Waste first. But before we do, shout out to one of our sponsors here for the MLG 2013 Winter Championships, Ben Q. You guys are familiar with them. We're using their monitors over here, as well as a slew of other things. You can check out their booth here if you are at the MLG event. So, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be SKMC taking on CJ's Hero in game number 2. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The Major League Gaming Pro Circuit is brought to you by iBuyPower, Sony Online Entertainment, Mad Cats, NOS Energy Drink, and Blizzard Entertainment.
We are back, and it's time to hop into game number 2 in SKMC versus CJ here. Akalon Waste is going to be the map. In the last matchup, we really just basically saw MC say, I'm going to proxy Oracle. If you're not ready for it, I'm probably going to win. CJ's hero went in last moment to try to make some sort of a stance, but too little too late. And I think the Oracle's just idle over the mineral line was pretty much the story to be told there.
You know, I really like the strategy because there's in PvP, what you're supposed to do is move out on the map with those stalkers, figure out if some kind of gateway timing is coming your way, which is super popular in PvP as well. You're supposed to grab your tower. You're just supposed to have a presence on the map. And how fast that Oracle shows up, because you'll notice back at home, he actually had 0 units. It's like probably as close as it can get to the fastest Oracle possible. And we saw it just peeked in there. A Stalker gets warped in not too long after, but 10 probes die. I'm sorry. If you lose 10 probes in a PvP, you're probably going to die.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. And, based off it, you had mentioned that, hey, there's no units at home. But also the walk distance from base to base on Daybreak so big is that he has that sort of built-in time to go ahead and get a few. And he had the bare minimum. His Mama Core just came out, didn't have a whole lot of energy. He had the 3 Stalkers, warped in an additional 3 Zealots. I mean, I don't think he even had the gas to say, well, if I get a Sentry, I can force field. But anyway, let's introduce our players here in the northwest position as the Red Protoss. He's up 1 game. It is SKMC. And in the southeast position as the Blue Protoss. See if we can see his true power in this game. It's CJ's hero.
First game was very short, as DJ Wheat had mentioned at the end of it. We have cast 4 PvPs so far, and
so far
3 out of the 4.
About
30
minutes, 35 minutes.
It's been very effective. The German audience is quite proud of this series, or the PvP series so far. Gateway's going down at 13 supply. That's worth noting. It can be 12 or 13 supply. 12 does suggest a little bit more urgency towards getting towards perhaps some form of a gateway timing. But again, because 4-gate takes more of a backseat in Heart of the Swarm, you'll start to see more liberties being taken with any kind of macro-oriented decisions. So a lot of times your Chrono Boost, again, in Wings Liberty, saved up after 2 for things like Warp Gate upgrade or perhaps a Chrono Boost units off that gateway to try and achieve some kind of timing. Nowadays, it's more probe-oriented, allowing for a stronger mid-game, but less emphasis on the early game. Of course, MC didn't prescribe to that necessarily in the previous game, but that is one of the trends.
Looking at just some of the differences in the builds that we're seeing right now, it looks like Hero's turn to go ahead and take 2 gases. He's only going to put 2 into the second gas, but there the Psy Core goes down on both sides, and there we do see MC throwing down his second a little bit later. But really, there's only big deviation between these 2 so far, and we're going to have MC sending out scouting probe first.
Well, you know, it's interesting you had mentioned the 2 probes on gas, which now we see 3 on each, but that's new. I'm telling you, like a lot of times the double gas would go down before Cybernetics Core, but you'd have 2 on each until you hit 16 on the mineral line, and then you'd start putting the 17th and 18th probe on those. What would have been the 17th and 18th probe on the minerals on those gases to get the 3-3 saturation. But again, because he's not as fearful of gateway timings, he's going to go ahead and emphasize the gas this way. MC's going to scout in. Worth noting as well is that Hero is not scouting, so that might be one of the reasons why we're seeing a Sentry coming off, but also a Chrono Boost on said Sentry. And there's the Stargate.
Yeah, it goes down, of course, after that probe has already decided to get out of there. And, is Hero going to go for something similar? Is he going to try to change it up? We'll find out once that guy completes.
Yeah.
Over on MC's side, as he throws his Chrono Boost down onto that Cybernetics Core. I'm curious what MC sort of has planned here, especially because he didn't get, I think, the information, of course, he would have liked to.
Yeah, a couple interesting things going on here. It looks like MC's going to do a 2-gate expand off the backs of 2 sentries, which is very odd. I'll go into that in a second, but also skipping the Mama Core altogether. So the reason that's a big deal is because if he did expand it from this point, he wouldn't have, well, there's the Mama Core, but he'd have less energy on said Mama Core for the Photon Overcharge to defend that expansion. The reason why these sentries are weird is look at that ramp at the natural. I mean, that's a 4... That's like a...
Yeah, it's a big old ramp.
Perfectly placed 3 force fields, but probably 4. And right now, things are looking good for Hero. I was going to say, I want to talk about this. He's going Phoenix. I love that. That is him saying, hey, I dare you to go Oracle, because opening Phoenix actually hard counters the crap out of an Oracle. It'll get like 2 probe kills and then die for the very much so a good cost for the Phoenix. But then they have the Stargate advantage. They're going to just have more Phoenix.
Now, I love this. Hallucinate the Phoenix, send it over. Opponent's like, oh, look, I hallucinate Phoenix. Next time he sees that Phoenix, is it hallucinated? No, it's not. It's actually real.
Mind games.
It is some mind games coming out here. But the hallucinated Phoenix sees the robotic facility go down. Most importantly, though, he saw, at least I want to make sure that he did. Yeah, he did see that next, of course.
Yeah, and you can see Hero's going to go down the middle of the map with these Phoenix actually also moving out with his army, but that's just to secure his expansion spot. So he will expand later, but tech-wise, he is advantaged tremendously. This Robo, not a big deal. Anti-air, 3 sentries, and a Stalker, so there's a really good chance we're going to see some sentries die here if Hero goes right for that ramp.
Yeah, and I think he is going to go.
Yet. No, he doesn't want it.
Wow.
Photon overcharge, okay.
And that was just perfect. I mean, literally, he had 104, 105 energy, so that timed out quite good for MC. Phoenixes can come over. The best thing they can do right now. Oh, hold on. He's going to try to go back in. Not even willing to. Oh, now there's 4, though.
Yeah.
He's absolutely going after those. With only 1 Stalker there, now a second one. All 3 of those sentries go down. And I think
really
that's
good
most
focus.
certainly a victory for Hero.
Yeah, these are not your grandmost Phoenixes. In the Wings Liberty, they had 1 less range, which makes a huge difference. Nowadays, they can get in there and do more. Good focus fire from MC, and again, the Photon Overcharge bought him enough time to realize he's facing Phoenix, warp in additional Stalkers, and then go ahead and make sure that they don't do too much damage. We do see Blink going down for MC as well. That's the best in a bad situation, but what should happen here is Hero should stop making Phoenix after perhaps this 5th one, and start making Void Rays. And I don't care how many Stalkers you have against 3 or 4. Well, I guess that's a little bit too much of an exaggeration. But Void Rays do tons of damage to Stalkers, and that is going to be the better tech choice.
And he is going to at least pump out 1 more Phoenix here. Actually, 2 more. No, he decides to throw it out and even Chrono Boost him. I mean, he's going very, very heavy.
And a Robo. So, I mean, we should see Immortals, again, as the answer to those Stalkers. As he sees... I mean, right now, maybe it's not known to him that he's facing Blink, but the second you see, like, 8 Stalkers, you're like, okay, well, I'm facing Blink. I need Immortals, and I probably need Void Rays.
He's going to be able to one-shot this Mama Core if he really wants to. A couple lobbies, or a couple lobs. Now, he did fly over the Twilight Council
He might be able to fight the Stalkers. I don't know, he's a little bit hesitant, but actually, maybe not 4 Stalkers, but it's getting pretty close. Great focus fire by MC, trying to get down that Phoenix count. He might get it on this pass. No, they're just too fast. It's our own version of a speed medevac.
Pretty great. So right now we've got, 7 Phoenix out for Hero. MC really in the process of defending. We take a look just at the economy. You know, based off of a little bit of harass, you'd think, oh, probably a decent probe lead for Hero, but it's not that large. Only about 3 probes right now. He did kind of focus on some of the gas probes at first, but those large Phoenix forces going in yet again.
Yeah.
And he's definitely being cautious with these.
Yeah, he's all the way up to 8 Phoenix, and now come the Void Rays. And you know what? I like Mass Phoenix. Again, they're much more powerful than they used to be. It's just that I feel like he achieves the same with these 8, now 7 Phoenix, losing that 1 to Great Focus Fire again from MC, that he would with like 4 or 5, to be honest with you. And again, we're talking about how, okay, well, when they fight, the Phoenix will pick up Stalkers, they'll pick up Zealots, they'll pick up whatever, you know, they're going to contribute that way, losing again another Phoenix here. But I just feel like the Void Rays they have such a better transition because, yeah, you'll use the Void Rays to defend the Stalker timing, but then they transition to the late game better because that's what Void Rays are. They're the late game composition these days in PvP.
Oh, they're coming yet agaga. The Stalkers are waiting. There's the Blink. 1 does go down.
Look at this. MC is forcing Hero to do exactly what I wanted him to. But he's supposed to have more Void Rays.
Yeah, there's only 1 out right now, or is there 2? Second one's on its way?
I think the second one's on its way, yeah.
So 2 out. The Phoenix is having a much more difficult time finding any sort of area of attack here on MC's base. And right now, we have seen MC kind of fall behind in the probe count overall, but that is partially due to the increased harassment that we've seen. These Stalkers are on the hunt for those Phoenix. He's really trying to sneak in here. Hallucinated Phoenix comes out, and there we see the Templar Archives going down now, along with Charge being researched for MC.
You know, that's interesting because I was looking at MC. He was warping in Zealots. That's usually the kind of stuff you start warping in as you're about to move out. But I think he's just, I mean, MC is MC. He knows stuff that the rest of us just simply don't. But what he's basically saying is, I know that there's Void Rays and Immortals coming out, and if I keep warping in Stalkers, I'm going to feed right into that composition.
Yep.
That's just his instinct. He says, okay, I'm going to transition to Charge Lot Archon and hope that I'm facing a hard, like 6 Void Rays, 6 Immortals, which aren't necessarily as good for their cost against a Charge Lot Archon composition.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just. I mean, we're seeing MC extend himself out just a little bit here, and I like this because obviously he has the ability to disengage with the blink. The Phoenixes, because the numbers have lowered. I mean, look at the hesitation of Hero just to go in the main base. Like, this is the first time in a while that he's now going to make his way back in here. Sees those 4 Stalkers immediately, like, don't want anything to do with it. Now, both players beginning to establish their third base, but we're actually going to go into. Late game here. Photon overcharge to try to get rid of those Phoenixes again. He just chases them out.
Yep. He does get the Mama Core, which is nice. It was full energy.
Yeah.
For its cost, though, not a big deal, and it doesn't take too long for it to get that full energy. And again, with charge on the way, but now kind of just now started, I don't think that that's the biggest of deals. Another Phoenix goes down, and now they're all in trouble, actually.
That was really, really smart by MC. In fact, he lets the blink cool down, allow him to possibly get another one. Yes, only 2 Phoenixes left. It's some great usage of a split army consisting of Stalkers. He had the one little set go below the natural, and the other one go to the Xel'Naga Tower. And I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better.
And right there is the last kill, those 2. I mean, maybe they go in the middle line and just sack themselves. They should do. There is no worse feeling than having made like 8 Phoenix and then now being down to 2. But I guess I need to, I don't know, kind of follow that point up with saying it's terrible earlier on. At this point, it's actually okay. It's like, all right, I don't necessarily need the Phoenix. I would have liked to have had him. But look at this army moving over here. That's a lot of charge lots. Not a lot of Stalkers. Look at the army of Hero. Yes, Void Rays do pack a wallop, but if they're not hitting armored units, it's not nearly as scary. And he's moving out.
Oh,
this couldn't be worse for Hero.
And he's just gonna blink. Perfect disengage. I mean, if the Zealots were behind him and they would have swallowed them and they're charging us, then it would have been really bad for sure.
They were coming out, and I was sure this was going to be bad. And here he is. It's like, Nair, I want you to die later. Here I go.
However, look at CJ Hero's army position right now. The Zealots are going to get in and be able to block while the rest of the Stalker's going to go in there, attack the third. Now they're going to be running out, and he will go ahead and engage and attack. We'll see the Time Warp throw down, and there's the Storm. Storm's on top of the Immortals. Get rid of those shields. There's still quite a few Zealots left, but there's so many stuck on the back line. There we have another Warp in. These Immortals still high up, no shields. Their heart shields are down, but they still have quite a bit of health left. And Hero decisively wins that battle. Only Zealots left over. I cannot believe all those Immortals actually survived. Uh-oh.
Fantastic focus fire right there. If those Immortals go back and recharge their shields, I don't care if they're in red health, they're as good as new.
Right, exactly.
But that battle should have been a win for MC, except for you made a beautiful point when you said, look where he's engaging from. Coming around the bow, hitting a chunk of Zealots for free, essentially, and then being allowed to cast force fields against those Zealots, holding them out of the battle. I mean, forget the Stalkers; they're gonna die. They're doing battles with Immortals and Void Rays, but without having to deal with the brunt of those Zealots, that was the best engagement possible for Hero. And I think the one big misstep we saw from MC there was not including Archons, because if he's able to trample the force fields, those charge lots tear apart that ground army.
And that was a bit surprising. Instead, we saw, the Storms go down on top of the Immortals, try to get rid of those shields before the engagement, got to that meat of the army. But having a follow-up Archon there to break down the force fields, like you said, would just be, it would have been a totally different situation. So, I mean, great job by CJ Hero here. Let's give him that credit, because I didn't think he was going to be able to necessarily hold off depending on the position, but he just came out of that one looking so good.
He did, and again, you're absolutely right. The correct engagement is how he won that fight. It's not just A move versus A move. I think if that were to have happened in an open field, MC would have outmaneuvered him there. I would like to see Hero get rid of these 2 Phoenix. They're just a waste of supplies point. Of course, he's not maxed yet, so it's not the biggest of deals, but it's, I don't know, me nitpicking, I suppose. Look at Hero, though. He's going to move out here. He's got Observer spotting. He's going to go for the Zealots, actually. Of course, MC proves me wrong. Even just getting off those feedbacks is potentially one less Storm in this battle. He's in position. There's a massive warp in. The Stalkers of MC have spotted this, though. They're doing battle with the Zealots, but they're going to take that elsewhere. And here comes the big fight.
Oh, big fight. And you know what? MC is going to be trapped in the back with those time warps. It doesn't matter. Hero moving forward. The Void Rays basically have no real answer, but the Photon Overcharge is what is going to help MC out the most. Now the Storms on the retreat and the defensive shots. And I think he's going to go back in here. A huge warp in his Zealots from the back. Now look at the army supply, 130 to 103 right now, but more importantly, right here at the third, a few Stalkers, a couple of High Templar. They do have Storms, and then of course the Archons. But the defense with that planetary, or with that Photon Overcharge, excuse me, that really helped out considerably there for MC.
One of the big storylines that's really aiding MC here is that he's able to chop down that Void Ray count, because they exponentially get more and more powerful. We're going to have another engagement over here. Immortals are being isolated, though, and that's not good for their costs. Of course, getting some damage in on those Stalkers was nice, but then dying in the back there, not as good. And MC has the army to chase. If these Stalkers decide they should be able to give pursuit to these Immortals, of course, it's a little bit like chasing a Bulldog. At some point, they might turn around and bite you, but here's that bite, and it's not good. The Archon is able to get that damage in, and they're going to die.
For as many Immortals that were saved earlier in that battle, to see those fall, I think is actually quite unfortunate for Hero. I feel like adding a few extra Archons is going to be his way of sort of responding to that. There's still a couple of High Templar here for MC, but that army he attacked with is a bit thin. Now here come the reinforcing Zealots. He wants to go back in. I think it's a smart move because he knows that at least he's done some damage to Hero. MC
wants to engage soon. He was down 30 and even 40 supply 2 battles ago. Now he's actually the guy with the supply advantage. As soon as he's piling it on pretty thick here, these Void Rays not nearly as big of a deal against that Charge Light Archon composition. Storm moving in to peel off the shields from these units. Not as many Stalkers. Bomb Ship, of course, been made available here as well. It's going to go forward. One Storm was let off from those 2 Templars, but the Charge Lot's very powerful. It's all about positioning. I think Hero might actually be in trouble. He's not down a lot of supply. He's going to pull back, and MC wants to fight in the open field to get those Zealots around that army.
Yeah, and I mean, with the run back here by Hero, he's obviously giving some free damage, but I'm not sure. He's just trying to get a position that he's going to be comfortable with. And there's a lot of charge lots there, Jeff.
Yeah.
I got it. Keep in mind, they are just +2 attack charge lots right now.
Versus +3 of Hero.
Right. There's the time warp right at the bottom frame. Oh, a couple of Archons get stopped by those charge lots. And, I mean, the Void Rays in the back, they're going to charge up. They haven't taken any damage yet, but unfortunately, the Archons of MC are overrunning. There's the blink inside. Once he knows it's safe, those Void Rays are going to go down. And despite a back-and-forth battle here, Jeff, we saw a killer PvP, and it's MC who comes out on top. GG.
This guy is an absolute competitor. I'll tell you what, like, he's going to do it again, Wheat. I spent 3 years watching this son of a bitch play Wings of Liberty, where it's like, my Stalkers don't do that. They don't go into a battle against Hydralisk Confessor and just kind of come out ahead by 50 Stalkers. And here he is in Heart of the Swarm again. He was down in composition. It just wasn't right. But through just meticulous micro of whittling down those Phoenix and taking absolutely the correct fights by getting his charge lots involved earlier on than a lot of people would have. I mean, if you go Blink, most guys are like, I'm going Blink, I need 70 Stalkers. MC's like, I'm going Blink, I'm going to make him think I'm going 70 Stalkers, and then go for 70 charge lots. And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Real quickly, let's talk about the fight that happened at MC's third, because I can't help but feel like that was the moment that first brick fell out of the building, and then that caused the rest of it to fall down.
Hero went into that fight with a 45 supply advantage.
Got 4 or 5 supply lead, right?
Yeah.
And you know, at first the Void Rays doing a lot of damage in the back, that one Storm, and then the Photon Overcharge was like enough. I mean, MC had virtually nothing at that point.
It's just, he does not, I mean, it's worth noting to a lot of people out there, MC is not just like he makes the right things and then just shoves them. He was focusing down the correct units. Even at weird times, he had Stalkers outside of that battle at the reinforcing pylon, chasing away charge lots that were being warped in by Hero to disengage them from the fight. And
right.
The idea that he could focus fire, storm correctly, and then also blink micro, he's won $350,000.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason why. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Game 3, and are we actually going to see a 3-game sweep on MC versus Hero? Find out when we return. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to day 2 of the MLG 2013 Winter Championship. Before we hop into game number 3 between SKMC and Hero, where MC is up 2-0, we do have an update for you. We've got MVP taking on Feast right now, and scores, well, tell them what it is.
1-1, man.
1-1.
Feast is taking a game off of MVP. Congrats to him. And, of course, in the best of 5 single elimination format, it's only a couple more games, and that would be quite the upset. A lot of people pick MVP to win this tournament. A lot of people, of course, favoring Terran, but if you're going to favor Terran, it goes without saying you're talking about MVP.
Right, absolutely. So keep an eye. We'll keep you updated on that as well. It's happening over on StarCraft Red, and keep in mind you can watch both the streams at any time. And if you have that $9.99 HD, you can watch it in 1080p ad-free as well. So let's find out if these players are ready. We're going on to Star Station next. There's MC, and we'll just get confirmation they're ready to go. I'd guess MC's like, yes, just line them up.
Yep.
I will knock them down, put all my opponents right here. Just let them. And Hero, he's got one hell of a hill to climb, and no one gave him any climbing gear.
He really does. It's unfortunate because, you know, actually Adabisi was commenting on Twitter. Big throw is what he was saying, and I got to agree. I mean, tech-wise, position-wise, he was ahead. He was ahead in every way. I think the decision to continue with the Phoenix to little success while noticing that MC was not really freaking out to the Phoenix. He was just kind of like, all right, I'll park my stalkers at each Nexi and just kind of build up my economy. And then once he had enough economy to, you know, photon overcharge or leave behind 4 stalkers and then still move out on the map and really just kind of anticipate where those Phoenix are going to go or kind of chase them down. It was like a hunter running down a deer. It was really cool to watch. We kind of saw, you know, that lead start to melt away, but it wasn't even that lead. I mean, I'll let you introduce the players, but there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, there really is. Let's get this out of the way. Here in the northeast position as the red Protoss. He is up 2-0. He only needs this one to shut it down and continue the reign of 3-0s on the round of 32. It's SKMC. On the southwest side, this guy, he really needs to bring something together. Certainly a respectable player coming from the Kespa land of StarCraft 2, folks. It is CJ's Hero.
And hopefully you guys are sipping the juice because that last game was so fun. I mean, I actually saw a couple of the comments in the thread as well where they were like, do I believe my eyes? Am I seeing Storm and PvP? Yes, you are. Those Void Rays so powerful against Stalkers. And while, yes, Archons do a good job kind of tanking damage, they're not reliable. Their damage range is very short. So if you're making Archons to counter Void Rays, you better also be making some Stalkers, but more importantly, probably Storm. We saw that it only takes a couple Storms, and those Void Rays turn from glass into glass.
And to think that, I mean, really, the units that you'd kind of expect Storm to be used on were not. I mean, the focuses were Immortals and Void Rays.
Yep.
And if the Zealots got in there, great, but that wasn't necessarily. I mean, I love the concept of get rid of that hardened shields with the, you know, with the true damage, if you will, of the Storms, and then I'll focus down on the Immortals.
Like, you're exactly right. Yeah. They're the key units. I mean, the Immortal choice was very smart because basically, if MC did what 99% of the other idiotic Protosses do, and that's I go Blink, I make more Blink Stalkers, then those Immortals, they make grunting sounds and chew through the ranks with ease. But when the Charge Lots showed up, it took a good engagement. I mean, that's the weird part too. It's like I felt like Hero was ahead, and then he takes that fight, and it was exactly the right fight against kind of a niche army from MC. It's very much so like, I need to fight you in the middle of the field for this many charge lots to make sense. But then MC just kind of out-microed him as the game went on and made better decisions and won anyways. And that's like, I just described his career. That's what he's always done.
Right. And I know a situation where hindsight is always 20/20, but I mean, I really wonder what would have happened if Hero would have attacked that natural instead of the third. I mean, he really set himself up not for only the spells of the Mothership Core, but, you know, the fact that with the charge lots facing charge lots, you're undoubtedly going to get a, hey, let me through this door. No, I'm trying to go this way. I'm trying to go this way. And it was kind of a hodgepodge of action there. So, again, hindsight's 20/20, and this is not a tournament where we're just going to load up the replay, rewind it, and see what happens after that. So.
Well, the other hypothetical is, what if he just didn't attack? I mean, his Void Rays just become more abundant, and MC was never interested in adding a Stargate of his own at all, so eventually it gets to the point where as long as he spreads his Void Rays, adds his own Archons, has his own Storm, MC just has the worst army. I mean, if you attack into a narrow choke, Yeah, the Photon Overcharge is a nice thing to sprinkle down on those weakened Void Rays, but Storm becomes magnificent. In open field, Storm can be something that Protoss players hop on the forums and complain about. It's as you said, we can't hop back in time, but it's fun to talk about.
Right.
Getting into this game, we do see that Twilight Council again from Hero. No blink right off the bat, and it's the Dark Shrine.
And we did see the Twilight Council come down for MC as well. He did it off of 2 gateways.
Yeah.
And I do not believe we've had any sort of... Nope, in fact, there's that probe right there.
Is this going to be a Dark Shrine too? It's just going to be slower.
It's just going to be a little late, huh?
We are going to... I mean, not by a lot. There it is. And we're going to have the good old-fashioned DT versus DT. Did you watch that game on, I think it was...
I think I already know which one you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember the map, but it was the draw. It was that Pro League or was that maybe GSL? I don't know. It was so funny. Sorry, guys, that we both just basically spoke incomplete sentences, but the bottom line was...
DTs, good game.
Sure, Freddy. But it's DT versus DT, and you can get some base trade situations going on there. Of course, Hero's going up to 4 gates, 0 detection. That's not going to be a concern for him. Neither player has a Stargate or a Robo, and look at what MC's doing. He's showing a lot of Stalkers, which will give him the edge in this first fight, and he sees the pylon. That's actually a big nuisance. While his Dark Shrine is earlier, he doesn't have a pylon that half the map. So look at this. The Dark Shrine's going to finish before that pylon does. He's probably going to have to warp in. Yeah, at home. There it is.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially considering that MC was a little bit behind.
Yeah.
In fact, not yet even done. He's working off of the same 4 gateways, and they're going to be completing with just a great timing. Now, meanwhile, MC's like, well, hey, I got this pylon down. Let's just throw out a couple of Zealots over here. And this is going to kind of, I think, throw Hero for a bit of a loop, but we'll see exactly how it's handled.
He added a Robo. There's only 1 pylon powering it, and there's 2 DTs on their way over here. If he can warp in some sentries, he might. Yes, there's a sentry being warped in. Nope, that's MC's sentry. And the DT squeezes through it. Lost just enough weight to fit in there. Congratulations. Your skinny ass is going to be a big pain in the butt for MCs in there. There is a Robo going down for both players. Where's the focus, though? Oh, it's on the Robo.
2 DTs on the Robo on the other side. 2 DTs on MC's side. Detection is not going to happen. Is he just going to go ahead and cancel it?
Yes, he is. He's building another Robo outside of his base, so that's the good old-fashioned base trade scenario.
Nice.
MC is not building a Robo just yet. He has the money for it. Pylon depowers the gateway. It's not the biggest of deals. He's still allowed to mine right now, and I think that might be a mistake. I know he's going for the pylons, trying to get them to stop being able to work. That's pretty cool, but he has enough money to build a Robo. There it is.
And, oh my goodness. So, a Robo's going down. Same thing. Proxy Robo on both sides. Now, all of the probes have been killed pretty much for, there's 8 probes remaining for Hero.
Yeah.
So just keep a close eye on that. They're starting to go down. Stalkers chasing that away. And then the Nexus focus by MC. Finally, Nexus focus here by Hero as well. It's going to turn out pretty interesting.
There's a DT chasing the greater army of MC. MC is heading back over to his Robo to try and save himself. The probes almost gave up the gig on this Robo that's being built over here on the lower right-hand side of MC, but looks like they weren't enough to bait it out. Now, he's actually building his Nexus next to the Robo. That's an interesting choice because the Robo is going to be revealed here in a moment. No, never mind. The Nexus went down, so it's not revealed. This game is so weird. The army of MC might be a problem, though. It's better.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I mean, it's both sides kind of equalizing things. It's crazy. MC was allowed to keep his Twilight Council and his Dark Shrine so far.
Oh my God, that's
and
weird.
The Stalkers found the thing, so there's going to be a single single observer out. I really question it. I mean, he could just warp in.
Wait.
One more time. And
something happened that we have to talk about.
What?
MC was supply blocked, does not have detection. He allowed a couple of probes to die to give him enough supply to build the observer.
Nice.
This guy.
Nice. And he also saved that DT, and there the observer's going out. Now, the Stalkers are there, so the Stalkers just join up with the observer, and I love it. In fact, he could take it out right here.
Yeah.
It's just so close, and I have to feel like MC is put himself in a really fantastic position here.
He's mining. He's got 11 supply advantage. Like you said, he's got the Stalkers. His Robo is powered. I mean, everything is pointing towards a pretty straight up MC win. I mean, there's one probe mining over here for a supply block hero, and MC just handled this better. The earlier Stalker production, the choice to, I mean, actually Hero allowing him to mine for as long as it was really weird. I don't know. I'm not sure I like killing the gateways as much as he already had DTs in his base, so it's like, what are you really worried about? If you can get the probes down and the Nexus down fast, you can start hunting those buildings.
It's a unique situation that you're not put in so many times. You know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
So again, we're seeing a great, great display. So he's going to move forward, and if he can just snipe the observer, it's going to give him a second.
Yeah.
He's going to get it.
He gets the observer. He just does.
God.
There's another observer popped out, but there is a time stop here. But he picks off the observer.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
There's only one, right?
Yes. He doesn't. He can't. He doesn't even have the gas or the supply to deal with that. To make his own robo, he can't make an observer. So these DTs are just gonna go die. Hero's gonna tap out. Thank you for coming to MLG Dallas, Hero, but you are dead. Hero is gonna fall 0-3.
Wow, and there it is with only 11 supply remaining in black. GG as the base trade situation featuring DTs, fighting DTs, an invisible battle. MC takes it.
I like, okay, I mean, if this was every PvP, I wouldn't like it. I'd hate it. But I like that it's sprinkled in there, and I like that the decision-making was so sharp from MC, choosing to go ahead and drop down that robo where he did. Hero being punished for the, I mean, again, I don't want to make it sound like it was exactly the right call to go after the probes, because I don't know that. And again, we can't go back in time, but depowering the pylons was, well, actually, you know what? Maybe what he was going for was to get him supply blocks so he couldn't build an observer outside of his base. In which case, that's pretty cool. Maybe you ignore the probes altogether, and you kill all the pylons. Well,
because the initial focus was on the probes.
Yeah.
And MC was just like, I'm just going to run them away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, it's hindsight's 2020. Yeah. It could have gone either way. I bet you if you put them in the same situation, how would they have reacted differently a second time?
That best of 3 of 1 that you like so much.
Yeah, I mean I love the comment that he said in the note that MC so quick thinking, going, well, I can sacrifice 4 or 5 of these things just so I can get out a few extra units. And you mentioned it early on. I think it was the key. Is that the army of MC?
Yeah.
And really the big difference was MC delaying his Dark Shrine actually ended up good because he had the second gate, then he went into that, and then the supply block on top of it from Hero. That was kind of the
hitting the pylon. If that pylon goes down outside of MC's base, the DTs get in there. I don't know, 10, 15 seconds faster. This could be a different game. The robo goes down faster, so the DTs are then able to shift their focus more rapidly. I don't know. It's tragic to say, by the way, because Hero goes down 0-3, and if you look at the games, you're like, oh, they didn't take long. They're pretty one-sided. That can happen in PvP. This is.
I like that series actually.
Yeah, I like it too.
I wish Hero would have actually taken that second game. I really do, or the Akalon Waste game. But
I'm well versed in the because I had Sauce hand my ass to me on an MLG stage before, and afterwards it's like, well, guys, like PvP can be pretty. Some strategies work, and then you're just kind of dead, so it looks really bad. So just what I'm saying is, if you're a CJ Antis hero, just know he has not fallen. Just, a lot of people are behind MC on his path to the next $350,000 he's going to win.
Another match is going to be coming up here on the StarCraft Blue stream in just a moment. But first, we want to give a shout out to iBuyPower, one of the sponsors here of the MLG 2013 Winter Championships. And actually, if you visit the iBuyPower booth for a chance to win, you get a signed Rebuild system. And there it is, right